How Long Gone, coming back at you with another podcast this beautiful Monday morning. I am at the Nobis Hotel in Stockholm. It is pitch black outside, nice and chilly. I'm getting my dose of Scandinavian melancholy, as they say. What's going on with you?
Just I'm doing some spring cleaning the last couple days. Cleaning out the garage.
Oh, nice. Getting ahead of it.
I mean, I guess it's
getting ahead of it.
Less getting ahead of spring cleaning and more being late for the New Year's renewal kind of refreshing. You know what I mean?
Of course.
If you choose to subscribe to the man-made calendar system, which I don't.
That's an entry. Yeah.
But I guess it's a lunar New Year. Rejudging. The office is getting a little switch up. I'm having to readjust some furniture and items to my newfound electronica career.
Okay, so you're saying that. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the show. I thought you were talking about the show, The Office, and I was very excited to hear what you'd done with Stanley. But you're saying that
I've done a lot with The Office. I've got a good Reddit page going. I've been making a lot of GIFs lately. There's one where the guy spills all the beans on the floor. That one already existed, so I didn't even have to make that one. It's been awesome.
You can improve on things, though. That's what we love about you. So you're saying that your home office where you record this podcast, you do all of your work and important tasks. Mm-hmm. You're saying that because you had to add your DJ setup and all of your new synths you got, it's throwing you for a loop.
The reel-to-reel has taken up more space.
No pun intended. No pun intended.
Yeah, fucking loops. Loops are gay. But no, I mean, I literally adjusted the feng shui of the office. The desk is on the opposite side. It's done a full 180.
Whoa. Okay, Jesus Christ.
So when I turn the camera on, you'll see that my background wall has shifted.
Sorry.
That's fine. Yeah, actually, speaking of loops, there's like a Twitter trend where it's like, is this the best transition ever? And people are resharing and quoting with like videos of like snippets of what they think.
And when you say transition, you're not talking about Hunter Schafer. You're talking about when a DJ mixes a song into another song seamlessly and perfectly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, I guess it could be both. I mean, half the DJs in these videos are trans, so I understand where the confusion could lie. But it's more so like, oh, you think that was sick? When, Skrillex did that, and then but all the old videos of people doing these dope transitions are just like, here's, two well thought out ideas of two songs that go together very well. And they found the perfect point in the song where one flows into the other. They're in the same key. They're in the same energy level. And it create, something greater than the sum of two parts together. But all the videos I'm seeing of like younger people, no shade to the youngs, but everyone is using loops. So
I would say,
so basically you just hit a loop button on your equipment and you can just take any part of any song and it goes yeah, and then somebody mixes in a song that goes boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, that
people
even
are going like, holy fuck.
Even I know that feels like cheating. Like that doesn't feel like I
so it's like I bowled a 300 with the bumpers up, y'all.
That is there's plenty of things wrong with the younger generation. Their transitions is not surprisingly one of them. I'm not stunned that they're cutting corners in the DJ booth. That doesn't surprise me at all.
I play on I do one set on a rotary mixer and my whole shit changes.
I wonder.
And it's different, bro.
I'm surprised young people even DJ, because if that's their job, then I would consider that going into the office. So that's just interesting because they hate that. So I'm surprised that the nightclub, you know what I mean, is like that.
They found a way to rejigger it. But yeah, otherwise I'm good. I'm still recovering from watching the Fire Age stream a couple days ago, where I had to watch like Lil Baby and Jelly Roll. Shout out the First Responder.
First Responder. Yeah,
That's a good grime MC name.
Very good grime MC name. I was able to.
I'm gonna DM Jammer and see if he's okay with that. So go ahead.
Yo, Jammer, how have you been? It's Jason. I was checking on. I was able to use my NordVPN to watch all of that on YouTube, and I'm really VPN pilled now. I'm like 14 years late, but
Okay, good. I mean, as a podcaster, it is your duty to share the knowledge and majesty of VPNs with the rest of the world. So I'm glad to see you're finally stepping up.
But I was just taken aback by how good the Black Crowes sounded. And my friend Ash like texted me being like, that's they sound amazing. I was like, okay, let me check it out. They did sound amazing. But then John Fogerty came out and we talked about this. John Fogerty's like 115 years old. He sounded fucking amazing. The sideburns were perfectly trimmed, age appropriate. And I mean, Mayer sounded great. Stevie Nicks sounded great. I chose to skip the artists that I didn't think I would like. So I didn't catch Lil Baby and Jelly Roll shouting out the First Responders. Or
well, I unfortunately, it was weird. I watched it all live because it was on every streaming platform.
That's fun.
Which was
cool.
That's fun. And I like that solidarity.
I like that too. I would have watched it.
The energy was so weird because like the crowd is all. It's like it really is a destruction of the middle class. It's like either people who were invited there because their homes were burned down, or people that can afford however much this fucking ticket was to see the this crazy ass lineup. So. It's just a bunch of like rich white parents and their kids, and they're just standing there like, I don't want to know. What is a Black Crowes? What is this? Why are these grandparents on stage? And then the camera will zoom into the crowd, and there'll be like 3 firefighters like drinking beers, just like looking at their phones and shit. And I'm like, the vibe here is really not giving. We all need to come together and blah blah blah. And then Lil Baby comes out with his like monotone thing. You don't even know. The thing I don't like about him is you can't tell if he's lip syncing or not, which is I guess the idea.
The unfortunate,
he's so bad.
He's bad, and
it doesn't make sense.
Drake's the only one who has ever blessed him with a hit. That's the sad reality of our canceled hero.
Well, he has a lot of hits now. He's one of the biggest rappers in town.
Is he though?
Him up there alone going, like his face doesn't move, he doesn't blink.
I don't think he's actually. I think he's like sort of big. I think he actually I think his name is very big.
No,
I don't know if anybody listens to Lil Baby. Like I never hear anybody talk about that.
I know,
ever.
I know, but that's how old we are. But he'll pull up and like headline one of the days at Rolling Loud. Like
I guess that's true. He
was doing main stage at Coachella like 3 years ago. He has a huge following. And I don't understand it. There's no dynamic range in his life whatsoever.
No, that's boring. It's boring as fuck. I meant to mention this. I mean, I mentioned this to you in our group chat, but I made some new friends at the airport, and I had to at the Copenhagen airport flying to Stockholm. I was sitting next to these two guys, and we started chatting, and one of them was heavily like face tattoo, and one of them was kind of like a regular looking guy, but the face tattoo guy I found out he's in a band called Iron Sight. His name is Isaac Hansen, but he had pulled out this kind of Nintendo Switch on steroids is the only way to describe it. And he was playing what looked to be Tony Hawk's Skater. And I was like, bro, what is that? Because I knew it wasn't like and he was like, oh, this is a PC. And I was like, wow, I've never seen this. I've never heard of it. And he's like, yeah, actually make music on this. And then I show up to the club with this and a USB stick and I'm ready to rock. I was like, that is fucking insane. But it was I was like, I didn't know you could.
Was he actually playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater?
It looked like it was probably not Tony Hawk Pro Skater because that's probably proprietary to like PlayStation or something. But yes,
okay.
It's the exact same, it was the exact same look. It was the exact same look. But then I looked these guys up, and they were playing. They're in a band with former guest of the show Varg, and they were playing, and they're like, yeah, bro, we're on at 3 a.m. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, you guys have fun.
You should pull up, bro.
3 a.m. Anytime a DJ tells me at 3 a.m. start time, unless they are fucking world famous, I don't. It's mind boggling to me. It's unless you're Avicii.
Well, unless you're in world famous or you're just in anywhere outside of America.
That's true. That's true. No, that's true. It just blows my mind that that's how people exist and tour. Yeah. Like that's the other, like these guys tour. You know what I mean? They're playing every other night or whatever at that time. It's just it blows my mind, but it's cool.
Yeah, it makes me wonder how like when I'm of an age and you see all these other DJs that are doing the same thing. And there's like older guys than me, gray hair, Ibiza DJs, and they're like, my set's at 9 a.m., bro. Like,
yeah.
And I'm wondering like how.
Dude, what?
It's not like how many years, it's like how many weeks do you have until your body gives up on you? Like what is the equation here? How is this happening?
The most interesting thing, I would like to do a survey of all of these kind of guys and see what their recipe for energy is. Like like when you talk to professional athletes, like, all right, I nap from this time to this time, then I eat at this time, then I warm up at this time. I wonder what that is for a aging EDM artist who has to play at 8 a.m. when the sun's rising. When do you have the pour over? When do you do yoga? When do you nap? There's so much to do.
Around 4 a.m., I have my first vial of Ecuadorian child blood mixed with 2 milliliters of GHB. And that will just give me a little boost until the sun comes up.
That gets
and
me
then
over
from
that
there,
last
I make
hump.
my proprietary, and then I just do a bulletproof coffee. Yeah, I'm still doing it.
Yeah, look, it works for me. It fucking works for me. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, bulletproofers, we still exist. Yeah, actually, I've been making a little bit of a bulletproof coffee lately. I'm drinking one right now, but it's turned up. It's pour over, powdered MCT oil, like coconut powder.
Damn, Rogan
and a scoop
1.0.
of creatine.
Whoa.
Scoop of creatine too, bro.
Okay, nice. I'm into this for you.
You know about coffee? Coffee?
I've heard about it. I'm good. I'm good on
Capatina?
that. If I'm gonna take creatine, it's gonna be a pill, and it's really tough to find the one that doesn't make you hold water. You know what I'm saying? That's the tough.
Really?
Yeah, that's the whole issue with creatine is it makes you. A lot of them make you retain water, so you look puffy.
Mm-hmm.
But also, if you're buff, then you just look buff. More buff, you know what I mean?
Right. I think I'm in the first category. I think I'm on the puff.
I think you are
less on the buff, which is totally fine. Actually, speaking of really quick of EDM, and then we'll move on. There's have you seen? There's a controversy. The rest of the Western world found out about this DJ. She's like big in Doha and Moscow and Dubai, all the cultural capitals of the world, and she's like a 30-something, late 30s woman, blonde, and her DJ name is DJ Black Woman, and her Instagram is Black Woman with like 3 or 4 Ks. It's like 3 or 4.
What?
and she's like, "What are you guys talking about? I don't understand what the big deal is." And everyone's like, "Bro,
I love EDM.
Your name is DJ.
I love
Black
EDM.
Woman.
That's what my mom's DJ name is actually. But that is really
I could say it. I could say it.
That is really something. That's fucking crazy. We do have. We're not going to. I'm not going to be able to see the Grammys tonight. And so this will come out after it's happened, of course. But good luck to all of our friends and former guests, Charlie, XCX, Waxahachie. I don't know who else is. I'm sure there's several others. But
I listened to Popcast with Carmonica, and they ran down all the noms, and it was like Billie Eilish, Chapel Roan, Billie Eilish, Chapel Roan. It's just that's it. So, our guest is here. Tish, give us 1 second. We're gonna intro you, okay?
We're gonna intro you. Our guest today is coming to us from across the pond. She's a contributing editor at Vogue, and she also has a new book out that has a nice cover, How to Be a Goth, which we're really looking to get into today because Jason and I both have been, talking and dancing with goth.
We have a
chicks
history with gothos, is what you're saying.
Since the early 2000s. So I feel like you're going to be able to give us a lot of information.
Bit of a connoisseur.
A bit of a connoisseur. All right, let's give.
Maybe the teacher will become the student. Okay, let's give Tish a call.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Is this working? This the headphone situation?
Yeah. Sounds good.
These are my husband Tom's because I'm completely non-techy at all. And
you're saying you're without headphones at the moment, and
I'm transitioning.
Okay, you're transitioning.
I'm transitioning. When it comes to tech, I'm very much sort of the bootleg variety. Like I ordered some Apple coded, let's say, headphones that I suddenly was like, Tom, they don't work on my computer. And he was like, okay, I'm using Daddy's headphones.
So do you, when you're
protected,
when you're walking around London or you're on the tube or whatever, you're just raw dog. You're no headphones.
I'm raw dogging.
Okay.
That is goth, actually.
It is.
I'm actually talking to the 1,000 other personalities in my head, so I'm not alone.
Oh, I understand. So you're in conversation with Tish 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you don't need music.
No, I mean it would be better probably for my mental health if I did have music, but instead it's like doom spiraling.
No, I disagree. I think the more quote unquote neutral time that we spend where you're not doing anything, you're not absorbing or consuming anything, and you're not producing anything, those are the moments that relax us. If you do that enough, you will never need meditation or therapy again. But I want to give a quick shout out to Raycon headphones for making black earbuds. Imagine if Apple just made those AirPods in black. How many those would sell instantly?
Of course.
No,
The
that's
goth
honestly,
community, of course.
that is because you see people wearing several different brands of bootleg headphone like pods specifically because they come in black, and Apple doesn't make them.
Yeah.
It's a missed opportunity.
Well, how are we going to address that? I guess we just did.
I'm going to go to the Genius Bar after we record, and I have a sternly worded letter for them.
Mm-hmm. Good.
I think we'll get it done.
I've had terrible times in the Genius Bar. I broke a shoe in going up to the Genius Bar. It was the worst experience ever.
What kind of shoe was it?
A Prada, like little kitten heel.
Okay, you broke a kitten.
R.I.P.
You broke a kitten heel. You must have been really stomping.
Yeah. Well, I got it stuck in the elevator. Basically, I mean, not the elevator, the escalator. Basically, what happened was I broke my phone, obviously.
Sure.
So I was in the Apple repair bar, and I was like, please, you have to help me. And I was in a queue, and I kind of got really friendly with my guy. Like we spoke a lot. We spoke about wellness. Like I was so unwell, ironically talking about wellness. Anyway, I was really bumming out, and I was like, I've got to go because I've got the opening of an envelope to get to later tonight. So I've got to go home, change. See ya. Obviously, I didn't have a phone, so I didn't have Uber or Get, which is black cabs here in London, which
Sure.
is more my sort of style. Anyway, so I had to hail one, went home, changed, came back, was running up the stairs, running my little Prada kitten heels, and then got it stuck. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is not going well. And so after the end was coming near as I was going up, I was like, no, this is going to end so badly.
This is how people die, Tish. This is how people die. You get the kitten heel stuck in the escalator, and then next thing you know, you got one of those cool fake legs.
I lost a life then, for sure. One of my 9 lives.
It's a poetic way. It's a poetic and I know we just met, but appropriate way. I feel like for you to go.
Yeah.
In Westfields, I don't know though.
Oh, Westfield, I see. Okay, that is less glamorous.
No,
I understand.
That was.
But this is reminding me of when I was probably 12 or 13 and we were wearing very large pants.
Not kitten heels. I thought this was going to be
not kitten heels, giant pants. And
well, the pants are so big you can't see the kitten heel underneath it. It's just for me.
Yeah, naughty.
The pants got caught in the escalator and ripped all the way almost off my body.
Oh no!
As like a fat 13-year-old in the mall, and it was really traumatizing.
Yeah, it's always at the malls. Westfield is our mall. Shit goes down there.
Shit goes down. I completely agree, and I'm not scared of escalators now, but I do look at them differently ever since. I'm sure you do too.
You think about it.
Yeah. I'm thinking about placement.
Yeah, it's a lesson learned.
It's a lesson learned.
It is a lesson learned. So we were supposed to record a couple days ago, but you had to hop on a train.
I did.
Where was this Fashion Week related in Paris?
Yes, I was in Paris for couture. I saw 2 shows. I saw the Valentino show, which was Alessandro Michele's first couture show at the helm of A House.
Debut.
It felt like he's been waiting his whole life for that moment.
That makes 2 of us, honey.
Yeah. And I don't know, people are obviously, there are arguments out there that are like, well, this isn't different to what he was doing at Gucci, or like, this is just the same. But it's like, yeah, obviously it's the same designer. This is his aesthetic.
That's what people, that's what you're hiring him for. That's what he does.
You don't want him to give you something else, right?
I also don't know if he's capable. And that's fine.
What he does beautifully. And it was amazing. I was fucking late for the show, which was a bit of a nightmare. And I was like, oh, okay, I missed it. So I was sprinting in my sort of like choir boy situation up here.
But did they dress you in Valentino?
I was dressed. I was dressed, and it was very.
Oh, sweetie, I was
dressed,
fucking
bitch.
dressed.
I was dressed.
Yeah, I was dressed, but it was amazing. It was sort of all these like beaded little. It felt like a Catholic choir boy up top, and then I was wearing these burnt orange tights down below, which felt a little bit naughty. My choir boy had places to go.
That feels like I'm sure that color makes its way into your wardrobe all the time, but a burnt orange tight does feel like you were trusting Valentino.
Oh yeah. It wasn't my natural habitat. That's it. Because also the dress was mauve. It was a little mauve moment.
Okay.
So it was mauve and orange.
Okay, so we're going mauve up top, burnt orange down below.
And then some little a white collar and a silver beaded cape. It was so not me, but it was kind of me. And I tell you who else was there, which was like in the goth fam was Susie Cave.
What was Susie and Valentino as well, I assume?
Yeah. Because she's come over from the Gucci family. She's she's friend of the pod. She's Alessandro's like gang.
Friend of the house, you follow.
Exactly.
Okay, so how did it feel? How did it feel as somebody like you who typically wears black mostly and darker shades to be wearing mauves, oranges, and whites?
It felt perverse in a good way. I felt good.
I love the drama of perverse.
That's really burnt orange.
Yeah, but it was romantic. The thing that I wasn't in some kind of like pink frou situation. It felt romantic. It felt historical. It felt referential. Like there was that way into the sort of gothicism. It didn't feel like I was. I think if I was wearing actually. Not a pink frou-frou, because I could also make that work, but a pink T-shirt maybe from The Gap.
Yeah, just you in rocking up in the pink Uniqlo T-shirt.
Yeah, that was a bit like, ooh, I just don't know about that.
Okay, well, look, as we get older, we find what we like, and we can deviate here and there, especially if we're led to water by a genius. It's fine. But it's probably better that you don't wear a pink T-shirt. You know that doesn't work for you.
It doesn't work for me. But also then, like, it's kind of interesting when you recontextualize something. Like, if I'm wearing a T-shirt, if a pink T-shirt, it's going to be different to, like, my friend Mary Jane from Hull. Okay, she's wearing pink T-shirt.
Sure.
It's different.
Incredibly different. Opposite ends of the spectrum. I can't believe it. Yeah. All right, what other show did you go to in Paris?
So when you go, sorry, really quick. When you take the train to Paris, when you arrive at the hotel, are the Valentino garment bags waiting for you in the hotel room closet, or is it less sexy than that?
They were out, and there was like 3 bags, so I had some choices. And I chose that one. I was like, this is me today and tonight, Matthew. I don't know if you guys get that reference. There was a show. Do you?
What show?
Stars in Their Eyes. And it was basically.
That sounds like a Lady Gaga song. I ain't never heard of no TV show called that.
I mean, it's.
I don't know if that made it across the pond.
No,
it sounds like a Netflix teen drama.
And this guy called Matthew was the presenter. And basically people would go on and they would dress up they would become a pop star, and then they would basically turn around and they span around. They go, tonight, Matthew, I am Elvis Presley. And then
whoa, this sounds great.
Mary Jane from Hull is suddenly Elvis Presley. It was great. I think it was like Channel 3.
That sounds. I'll look that up. That's like a different version of The Masked Singer, which is very popular here.
Oh yeah, it's that. But like this is like the 90s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Anyway, the key, it was like tonight, Matthew. Yeah, turn around, kind of like the Wonder Woman spin, and then there's someone else.
Dramatic,
and then they perform.
I'm Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. Or I'm Mick.
When you
they really didn't have a Mick. But yeah, sorry.
No one should try that. When you when you get the 3 looks,
Fallon does a good one.
Now, when you get the 3 looks, is there often in this situation is it sometimes like I don't know how to put one on? Like it's so extreme that you're like, I don't even.
What Chris is asking is, do the garment bags come with a gay guy to sort of guide you through all the garments and how to wear them?
Oh, I had one of those. Tom was in Paris with me.
I brought my gay husband. He's a stylist. It was super easy. It was no big deal.
I also there's clear sort of like lookbook pictures. You know what you're wearing.
Sure, you can follow. You're following.
I'm following.
Mm-hmm. There's been a style out.
I know how. I might need someone to do something up the back, obviously. But I can sort of I can figure it out.
Yeah. It's kind of your job. If it would be bad if you couldn't, right?
Yeah, actually, I wore something as a belt once, which wasn't a belt.
Okay, so
I think it was
Been there.
it was part of a bag, but I didn't know it was separate. So and it was like a Loewe thing. And like, I think when the look is so precise, I mean, no one told me until I re-looked at the picture the next day, feeling like slightly bleary eyed when I was doing my packing list and being like, oh, have I got everything? And then I saw the picture, I was like, oh. And it was kind of weird. I was like, why am I wearing this like funny little belt on a skirt that has no belt holes? It's completely sort of gratuitous. But I was like, that's what J-Dubs wants, and that's what he shall have.
that's true. You were just following the leader. You were following the leader.
You called them J-Dubs? I like that.
Yeah, J-Dubs.
This is okay. So you that's a pretty minor offense overall. I
Yeah,
mean,
it was fine. No one
because
told me. Everyone was like, you know.
I often see things specifically on women's runways where I think to myself, I'm not sure how this goes on and off. And I think that's part of the fun. But it is, it's sometimes it's tough to parse with just your eyes.
Yeah.
You need to physically get in it to understand.
Yeah, totally. Like there are some things like couture, for example, which isn't your everyday get up.
Sure. You're not wearing that down to the shops.
Chris has struggled with couture over the years, so
Okay.
Yeah, it's a real look, it's a blind spot for me. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest here with you. I feel safe.
But that's why we have you on today, to learn.
Can we unpack that? What troubles you about it?
I think
Chris?
no, I'm not. I'm not troubled. I think though I am very commercially minded,
Okay.
and sometimes when I see things come down a specifically couture runway, I'm a little bit like, I know this is art. I know this is meant to be just an expression, but like, what the fuck are we doing here? You know,
Chris is just thinking about the buy.
Yeah.
I think about I want stuff that sells. I want hits. I want bags. I want shoes. Some of this stuff just isn't going to work.
I hear you, but actually, when you're in the room with those couture clients, they're like, yes, this is what I want. And like,
that's true.
The Fendi clients, the Schiaparelli clients, like it's a treat to watch them when you're in the room with them.
Yeah, I would love to watch like an oil heiress from Dallas, really putting in some orders, because that's that's like what it is.
The work, like the il faccia, like that, the face is just like stretched in time, and they look, the weaves are sort of set. They fucking look amazing. Like I think if he hasn't already, and I feel like it could be a thing. Like Yaga needs to be shooting.
Yeah, all of those
portraits.
Well, they do keep these places in business. They should be shown to the public. That's kind of who keeps the lights on.
And the men as well, actually, at the women's couture show.
Are you saying the ones that are they just paying for it because their wife wants it?
No. The men, like the guys who want to buy a little, like, I think it's like a little jacket maybe, or a handbag or something,
like a Brian Boy type of person, such a fan of couture that I just have to own it and touch it and smell it kind of thing.
But Brian I think is more industry.
But you're saying to me there's a regular rich straight guy at Fendi being like, I need that and that, and it's for him.
Well, I'm clear on his sexual orientation.
She didn't say straight. But Chris, it's like when we go.
That would make it more crazy.
It's like when you go to a fashion dinner. When you go to a fashion dinner and there's like the four like dudes from Taiwan in the corner who are like, what are those guys here? Like, oh, they spend like $700,000 on Xenia every year. So
they're on an reward scheme basically, and
they're here for the points.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing to have them.
They show up with the Xenia umbrella, even though it's not raining. Just
let you know.
Good for them.
The first time I ever went to a fashion show was in like Milan. It was Versace, and it was probably like 2010 maybe or something.
Flex.
And I remember being like, who are all these fucking people? Because it was just like moms, it was like Chinese moms. And then it was politely explained to me that these are the people who actually buy these clothes.
They're keeping the lights on.
And it made a lot. It really made a lot of sense.
They're keeping the lights on, and like it's a whole production. They also get taken out. So if they're going to the Dior show, let's say, they get taken out to a fabulous lunch afterwards.
And they're flying them in and putting them up often as well.
Yeah, I don't know if they're flying them in. That's unclear.
And then it's our jobs, the three of us, to go to these lunches and dinners and entertain them.
I was at this dinner once, and I wasn't really sure what the dinner was, but there I was. And this very chic in some contexts. Let's call her chic.
I hope that's how people describe me. He's chic in certain contexts.
Yeah.
He's, not all the time, but he has his days.
She was doing her own thing. And so she was like, what do? Do you work in fashion? And I was like, yeah. I had no idea where, like, I just wasn't really checking. I didn't know what I was doing. Anyway, so I was like, oh, don't you? And she was like, no. I was like, oh. And suddenly I was like, we're in a store. And then it dawned on me what was happening, that I was getting farmed out to be, I don't know. I don't really know, because I don't know what they wanted from me.
You're just eye candy.
Well, you're eye candy,
women?
but it also sounds like you're a middle, which is what Jason and I often are, where you're put in because they know that you can bullshit with anyone for 2 hours.
That is true.
And make it fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the second only to the people who spend money in order of importance at an event or a dinner like that.
They want connection to the real people.
I met a podcaster today at dinner.
Yeah, I don't know how real you are necessarily, but I think in that context you are more real than some of them, which is that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
What other show did you go to?
I went to the Gaultier show.
Was it lit?
Jean-Paul Gaultier. It was great. The vibe was great.
You're saying the vibe was great, but the clothes maybe aren't for you? Is that what
No, the clothes were amazing. But like, it was the whole sort of, the Valentino was watching, it was a massive, big production, whereas the Gaultier one, because it was Ludovic taking over the house. So they have a guest designer for every couture.
That's a great designer who I don't understand.
Okay.
That is one of my top I don't understands.
Okay.
But this is the place for him. I do understand that.
Yeah, he was meant to do this show, and it was fab. Like, he put on a show. Pat, the choreographer, whose surname I'm not gonna be able to articulate today successfully, so I won't. He did the choreography, and it was like all the girls. It was like sea monsters sauntering down the runway, which was nice to see a walk that wasn't just a regular runway, and it wasn't just a rip-off of the Margiela runway.
I understand that, but I want to see aliens looking mad. That's kind of the vibe.
Chris,
I'm
it's
going
nice
for.
to get some sea monsters back on the runway again. It's been a little while, right?
Ursula. What's the Loch Ness monster called? Nessie.
Nessie.
Mm-hmm.
Nessie.
Nessie, one of the last plus size models going out. No, thanks to Ozempic, right?
Yeah, very true. She
decimated
inclusive,
that market.
Oh, we're inclusive. We are inclusive. She's a monster and she's plus size.
I was reading. She's monster. She's plus size. Yeah, and she's here and she's fierce, bitch. I was reading or listening to something where they're talking about how Ozempic really has sort of shifted or altered or not destroyed, but put a big dent in the plus size model community. Have you heard or noticed any of this firsthand?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think
less sandwiches backstage.
Yeah.
They leave the 5 foot. They leave the 5 foot Subway sandwiches at home. They don't bring those backstage anymore.
It's air. It's oxygen. No, you're not allowed.
That's what. Okay. Well, that's what's frustrating to me about the fashion industry is that when you go to these things as a regular, I don't. They don't. Yeah, they don't.
You don't like fat people?
As a recovering fat person, I feel like I'm able to speak on it in a different way.
Yeah,
but
you're like, I fucking hate them.
It's my try. Mentally, I understand them, even though I'm in recovery and have been for years. But I will say that
he's got the soul of a fatty.
I do, and it gives you a good personality. Yeah.
Good.
It gives you a good personality. That's the only.
It can't get out.
It can't get out. It's stuck.
It's stuck.
Well, that never leaves you.
Chris.
Yeah, we gotta put some butter on the sides of the doorways of your mind. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I just don't. I find it, when you're supposed to eat in these situations and nobody's eating, but then I'm like, I'm a 42-year-old regular man who lifted weights this morning. I need to eat. But I'm looked at as kind of a little piglet.
Disgusting.
Disgusting pig. And I don't really, it brings me back to my middle school days, and I don't like that.
I don't. Well, what do you mean? When are you not meant to eat? Because at a dinner, there's food. Food is stuff.
There's food. Of course there's food.
Yeah.
But no one's eating that food is my point. Or they're picking at it, moving around their plate, having a bite or two of just the radicchio. I'm trying to. I have to eat. It's 8
Chris.
o'clock.
Chris needs protein the size of his fist. He needs a big bowl of greens and broccoli and things like that.
This shit starts at 8
he doesn't
o'clock.
want to just have like a kiwi in his pocket.
You don't sit down till 9. No, and then no one eats. And it's like I don't drink, so I can't even fill up on vodka. It's a waste of my fucking time.
Okay.
It's a waste of my time, but I have to show face. You know how it is.
He's stuck eating the bread basket.
No. What do you have intolerances?
Oh,
Do I have
sweetie.
intolerances? Oh, I have a lot of intolerances, but not dietary.
Okay, dietary. I was going to say in the culinary.
Not dietary.
You've got intolerances.
Not in the culinary space. I mean, I'm by choice a pescatarian. I don't have any like actual. I'm not a hot girl who lies about being gluten intolerant.
Chris, don't come for our wives.
All about that. So.
Yeah, Tish, are you recovering gluten intolerant?
Okay, so I'm going through some stuff at the moment where.
Whenever they answer that question with, okay, so.
Yeah, how much time do we have?
Okay, so basically, hitherto, I've been like, I eat what I eat. But then recently, I have gone to see a couple of like wellness quacks. And they're like, oh no, your gut is not okay. I was like, I know it's not okay because I'm not.
You're like,
okay.
it's not a gut, it's a very tight stomach,
No,
first of all.
Excuse me. But I'm sort of one of those girls that's like, there's a little rabbit dropping in the morning and that is it. So I feel like I need to get things going.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, we came to talk about goth and now we're talking about feces. But actually it's quite goth. It's the same thing.
It is, I was gonna say.
I can easily transition from shit to goth. Don't worry.
Goths are shit. No, because anyway, so then I was like, I really need to like get it all going. And instead of giving up like alcohol and cigarettes, which feels like I should do to be well.
Of course, we all should, but those are non-negotiables for people like us.
Yeah. I was like, there must be some other kind of thing that I can do. And then I did this test where you put your hands on these plates and this very sort of dated machine looks like something from like Back to the Future.
It sounds like you became a Scientologist.
So apparently you're not the first person to say that. Apparently Scientologists use them. Anyway, I was doing it and then this computer basically read me. It's told me, it's like, I can't have yeast, I can't have
tea,
wheat, I can't have dairy. And then it was like, you can't have champagne or green peas. And I was like, oh, niche. I don't like peas. So I was like, pick champagne on the other hand. I don't know.
You're gonna have to let that one through, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm like, oh.
Do you mean just the cheap stuff, or
it didn't say? The machine didn't say, so I was like, oh, I don't know. Anyway, I'm now.
Which years? You can have the 2002.
So what vintage is that? No, it didn't. It wasn't very forthcoming. It just printed it all out. There was something else which was like a word that I didn't understand. With many things, I was like, I don't understand what this is. But I also felt seen and judged by this machine.
Tish, quickly, how much did this cost, if you don't mind me asking? This is stuff Jason and I do too, so we're not. This is not a judge. This is a judgment free.
Yeah. I've done it with. I did a test where it's my blood, feces, and saliva.
Okay.
So I would love to just put my hand on a plate for 5 minutes.
I have a private doctor. I pay a fortune for her, and all I can do is blood.
Okay, so I don't know how much that specifically costs, but I'll tell you what something costs in relation to that. So after being given the food diet, I got that. It was then I'm on a protocol where I have to go back and get ozone therapy.
Ozone therapy.
Yes,
you know what that is?
I don't know what that is.
No, I haven't had it. I don't have it.
Okay,
I haven't had it.
So ozone. They take your blood out and they spin it with O3, which I'm slightly unclear on, but I was like, whatever, do it. And then they put it back into you. And
I saw the 1975 there last summer, O3 Arena.
Jason, I was literally about to make a stupid joke.
Carry
just
on.
Like that.
Sorry for interrupting. Okay, so yeah, I'm familiar with this. They pull your blood out, they spin it.
Okay.
Add a little 3,
and then it goes
put it back in. Mm-hmm.
Add a little 3, they put it back in, and then it's an O3 story. So then they do this thing called insufflation, where they put the ozone up your vagina, and then they put it up your ass.
Wow.
Which is all very interesting.
The only thing that's gone up my ass is cocaine, and that was only once. So this is pretty crazy.
Interesting. So yeah.
Okay, you said insufflation?
It's called insufflation, and that's a technical term, apparently.
Insufflation, no breathing, don't give a fuck.
Trump's been talking about that a lot, actually, lately. So no, okay.
Anyway, so the vagina one was sort of, it was like someone like blowing bubbles. Actually, the both like bubbles thing. The asshole one, I felt like slightly uncomfortable, and I also fully lied. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I've never had anything up here before." And then she looked at me, and I was like,
"She's like, bitch, you're lying."
I was like, "Sorry."
So you're saying you said
I lied.
Just to clarify, they're pulling some of your blood out of your blood veins and vessels, adding a little O3 to it, putting it back in your body. But before we save a pint glass to put up your vagina and asshole as well.
So it's just the gas. It's just the gas that goes up there.
Oh, okay. It's okay. So it's not liquid.
Gas going in, not coming out, which feels
okay. So they've got an O3 hose, and they just put it in there and fill you up a little bit.
Yeah. You're like,
yeah, it's just like a tire on the Tesla. So
yeah.
So what is okay? How much did this cost then? Okay. Now that we've heard there's blowing involved.
Finished.
Okay.
So this is just the first like hour. Then you have
There's a brief intermission, and then the real pain begins.
There's a brief intermission, and then you have a drip, and they put like lots of like good things in the drip, like I don't actually know. No one likes to know what goes in the sausage,
B12,
right? So I'm like, hit me.
A little tumor.
Yeah, I mean, then they do this. Then the nurse was like, she's like, I'm gonna give you a reset. I was like, okay. And she's like, I think you'll like it. I was like, why do you think that? She was like, well, people who dabble. And I was like, sorry, what do you mean dabble? She's like, people who dabble. And I was like, I'm just gonna let that.
You're like, I haven't kissed a woman in at least 3 years. I haven't dabbled. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was like, okay. So we didn't go there. Anyway, I think she thought things like smoke weed or something, which I don't. And because I felt something so she put it in, I literally passed down, and I was like, sorry, that was fucking horrific. And she's like, oh, I thought you would have really liked that. I was like, no.
You're like, so I tried fentanyl for the first time, and it was very strong.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, it was great. And then you round the whole experience up with some exosomes sprayed into your face, and it's basically salmon sperm.
I've heard about the salmon sperm thing. My wife was talking about that.
Yeah.
The reset. What was the reset that they gave you?
I don't know. They just put it in the bay. I just did not.
Oh, so you had the IV drip going, and then they switched the bag of electrolytes and vitamins out, vitamins, and then they replaced it with a kilo of ketamine, and then you just passed out. Okay.
Yeah, and then I came back and I was like, oh, I actually didn't really like it.
Can you explain to me where this is? Is this like a doctor office vibe, or is this like a?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of.
She's like, well, in the way that doctors' offices have doors and walls, it was similar to that.
Exactly. Yeah. There was a couch and a table and stuff.
It's doctor coded.
Doctor coded. Okay.
It had doctor elements to it, but it wasn't full on.
Mm-hmm. It felt no. Do you know what? The nurses are nurses, and the woman who was doing it was kind of nuts because she worked at the NHS, and she worked in A&E, and so she's used to like seeing all kinds of crazy shit. And then she's like, I would never do that again. And then here she is, like giving me basically a facial with salmon jizz. And shoving a fucking tube up my asshole.
Yes.
Like, wow,
Tish, but she's probably making a lot more money doing this than she was working for the NHS. That's the giveaway.
Oh,
charge a lot for a facial.
For sure. And so at the end of that, when I had to use my card, that was like $2,500.
Okay, this is a judgment-free zone. We all spend money on stuff like this, but did you feel any different? That's the real question.
Did you feel $2,500 better?
I felt like I was dying for the loo.
Okay.
Oh, it's a good sign. That means all the bloating and water is ready to leave. It's like lymphatic or something.
But these things, it's like you have to do a course. A weekly course. I'm like, fuck, that's like my children's inheritance.
They're not.
Now the real journey begins. And would you like us to bill your Amex every 2 weeks or every month? How do you want to?
Sorry, sweetheart. High school's not really an option now because mommy needs her wind blown. Yeah.
Can you say insufficient?
I don't. Okay. This is pretty extreme though, because I feel like in the UK, this stuff is fairly. It still feels underground to me, or maybe not. Maybe it's just in the circles I run in.
Yeah, it's underground. It's like there's certain people once you meet, it's like there were two like tops or two bottoms connect. There's like a sort of frisson of excitement because you're like, oh, do you get inspiration? You're like, yeah, maybe. And then you feel like you're in in a safe space.
Right. Okay. Did they give you like a poppers or anything to sort of prepare thyself?
No.
For insufflation?
No.
Okay.
I mean, they put some they put lube on it.
Oh, that's
which
nice.
is a kindness.
Yeah. Better than nothing.
Did you hear? Now, was this recommended by a friend, or is this something you found out about through your channels?
Through my channels, and I now got friends from those channels.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
you know what I mean? Like
yes.
it's brought me closer to people.
With the other survivors, you've developed a beautiful network.
We have a WhatsApp group chat.
The thing is, I would rather like hemorrhage my children's inheritance like on these treatments than implement the food thing, because I'm a raging people pleaser, and like when people are like, "Oh, like do you have any dietaries?" I'm like, "No, I don't." But I do.
Yeah, sure. You don't want to be pulling up the Google Doc of dietary restrictions before you go to a
So
party.
you're like, I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. Don't take my intolerances into account.
Exactly. Like I'm okay. For you, I'm not intolerant.
Okay. Are any of those like life or death, or is it just like
no?
Okay.
No.
Okay.
It's sensitive. They're not intolerances. They're sensitivities.
Okay.
But I am sensitive.
Are they mostly sensitive to foods that make me fatter? Is that sort of the broad strokes of it?
No. Well, the pea thing was really the green pea thing.
That feels like an attack on your English.
I was like, what? How dare you?
I mean, I don't think anyone likes peas, but being told no doesn't feel good.
I love a pea. I love a mushy pea.
I fucking hate peas. So
I built my life around you, peas.
Oh, no, thanks.
What are the other... Now, this feels like this is probably... you've been exploring this sort of thing for a long time to get here. So I'm sure you have a monthly routine that you go through, kind of. And this is now part of it?
No, honestly, this food thing, and the whole wellness thing, I only got into in December. But it's very neat to get like really into something and then be like, I can't fuck.
When's the last time you had a cigarette, though?
In Paris. No, I'm quite good. When I was pregnant the first time,
You were smoking a lot less, probably.
Yeah, I was smoking a lot less. Let's put it that way. I was smoking a lot less. I was drinking a lot less as well in the first trimester.
Yeah, sure.
Of course.
Which is when it counts. And so that kind of reset, and I was like, actually, you know what? I'm not a smoker. I'm not I used to wake up and be like, oh, a cigarette, yum. And now, no.
You do strike me as someone who in their 20s would smoke in bed. Is that fair?
Yeah, fair. Wait, have we met?
Nothing more fab than that.
There is.
We know each other.
It feels like that.
Do we know each other in an intimate way?
Have we?
Hold on.
Did we smoke together?
I've always wanted to smoke in bed. I've never done it.
Do you like smoking en general?
Oui.
Okay. You just managed to get out of the bed.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But I want to do it like while I'm still naked, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think also part of it is I don't think it was necessarily because I was like, oh, I really want a cigarette now. I think I maybe thought of myself in a film and was like, oh, I'm gonna have a cigarette now. It was very performative.
Sure.
Even though no one was watching, obviously. Very much in the early days of my courtship with Tom, who is a friend of this pod, a fan of the pod.
Hi, Tom.
Tom, bless him, poor Tom, Tom does everything, having to, because I was like, my headphones aren't working, and also our baby had just like done a shit all over herself, and he was like, I'm dealing with something. I was like, I'm dealing with something. Tom is like the lurch to my Morticia Adams. He does everything for us. I was like, oh yeah, Gomez. I'm like, no, lurch. He does everything for us, but also he is our leader. He is my leader, and like he co-signs everything. He also Kanye'd my wardrobe fully.
Oh, you mean he went in and was like, "This is what you're wearing. You're Bianca."
It was more like, "This is what you're not wearing."
Right.
Were you happy? Were you happy with those results, or did it take some? Because Tom is a very talented stylist. I would trust him, obviously.
I wasn't. I was more okay. There was this one dress, right? that we were doing the throwing out because we were moving out, we were moving each other. I was pregnant. I was like, what should I throw in the bin? What should I not? Da, da, da. And there was this one dress that I was like, what do you think of this? Like thinking, obviously Keith. It had a lot of lore to it, like personal lore with me and Tom. I wore it to a Jacquemus show in Marseille in the early days of me and Tom. And like I thought obviously I looked ravishing. It's funny having like now we just spoke about like Valentino. Was I dressed? Yes. Back then I was not dressed by Jacquemus, so I dressed myself, and so I was wearing this black dress and I lost my virginity in that dress. So it was like, it meant a lot to me.
You still had the dress that you lost your virginity in, and then you used that to lure in your current husband, is what you're saying.
Is it your Tom virginity or your virginity?
Like, virginity.
Okay.
I think I was just like, you know what? Because it was really early days of me and Tom, and I was like, this is a lucky dress. I like resurfaced to the cream rises to the top, or so I thought.
Now, is this like, how old is this?
What
is
season
this like
was this
Kate
dress,
Moss
honey?
Top Shop, or are we talking?
So this dress it's like a vintage dress that I found in Berlin in a thrift shop. That's why I think I wore it like with me and Tom. So I was like, oh, it's like,
sure.
I don't know what the thinking was behind that, but I was like, oh, Berlin, Tom Guinness, yes, thrifted.
It was very one-sided lore.
I like didn't want it. I didn't want it to be labeled. No. I was like going through some stuff there. I was like, mentally very unwell. I was like, I don't want him to know what labels I identify with, and that was down to toothpaste. So I didn't bring any toothpaste with me because I was like, I'll just borrow or deodorant. I was like, I'll just borrow his. I just didn't want him to know.
So better safe than sorry. He might judge my products, and
I
understand that because Chris is a product judger.
Yeah, see,
living with one can be stressful.
It can be stressful. I think that luckily my wife is a worse product judger than I could ever be, so it's kind of a duel depending on what the category is.
Yeah.
But I do that. Not bringing deodorant for fear of embarrassment is an interesting choice.
I know. I knew he would bring his.
Fuck it.
Yeah, men have to wear deodorant. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, and also I was like, oh, I didn't want to be embarrassed with my little like Ziploc bag, you know.
Okay. Even though I hate to break it to you,
I
Tish,
mean, the courtship process is so adorable.
But Tish, I hate to break it to you, but everybody who's traveled before kind of knows that you got to bring the plastic bag. It's it's a great equalizer, even I would say.
I know.
He's gonna be like, "What brand is your Ziploc?" Ooh,
yeah, disgusting.
Yeah, is that a
Sainsbury?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
Yeah. So I just, I was just like, I just wanted to go. I was certainly feeling like I wanted to be incognito. So I found this dress. And I was like, oh, no labels, vintage Berlin. Yeah. And like it's worked before. And then
in the terms of being shagged in it.
Yeah, I was shagged. Yeah.
The shaggability.
The shaggability, like it's got male appeal. Now the guy I lost my virginity to is not the same as with a very different beast.
You don't say. I had a feeling it might be far apart.
A very different beast. So I don't know the thought process behind that. I also hadn't been, so I was also out of the dating game, by the way, when I started dating Tom. I was like in a relationship with like someone I met at school.
Sure. Who
I'd been like obsessed with for ages. And so I wasn't like, we were dating. And so I wasn't like, I hadn't dated a man. And Tom was a man. He was 5 years older than me. And I was like, scary man stylist.
Yeah, nothing scarier than a male stylist.
For our listeners at home, Tish does not look scared at all. It's horny scared. That's what's happening.
Yeah, she looks like she's looking at a chocolate bar.
No, but Tom Guinness had a lot of lore as well. So I was like,
I understand that, and I think that he is good looking in an intimidating way, I would say.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes. And what else?
And he's able to do a closet edit. That's a rare.
That really is. That's top of the top. But so you're saying that
Tom, my hat's off to you.
But you're saying that this dress that worked, and then you wore it again in hopes that it would work, and then when it came time to do a closet clean, Tom was like, "That's got to go."
That is fucking disgusting. I was like, but Tom, don't you remember this Marseille? And he was like, oh. And I was like, oh.
Tom's like, that dress smells like 10 different 10 different people's cum.
He's like,
I want it out of my house.
yeah, he was like, no. And you know
Smells
what
like a lot of cum that ain't mine.
and what was bad? I should have sort of taken the hint when like this guy that we bumped into in Marseille was like, oh wow, Tish, who I'm not gonna say his name. You probably won't even know him. He's not known for his taste. Anyway, he was like, wow, Tish, you look amazing. And he's like, Tom, don't you think she looks great? And Tom looked at me, he was like, and I was like, oh no.
That's nice.
Tom's like, yeah, most days she does.
You're saying Tom went nonverbal when asked if
He
you
was just
looked.
like, yeah. No, he's like, Tom, you told her like how great she looks. Yeah.
Tom's
And then
like,
I was just like, oh,
I like
he's
the
just,
shoes.
playing hard to get. No, he's fucking being truthful. He's obviously like, she looks bad.
So did you
Anyway,
for nostalgia's
8
sake?
years later, here we are. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, nothing gets a woman going than telling her you look bad.
That's true.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Challenge
exactly.
accepted.
Yeah, it really is challenging. Anyway, but like I would say now the student has surpassed the master. Now I'm good.
Yeah.
It was a lesson I needed to go through. I needed to sort the wheat from the chaff. I needed to get focus.
Well, what are your shopping habits like?
Like my wellness habits.
Expensive and extreme?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. But are you buying online? Are you going to store? What do you like to do?
I buy mainly vintage online. Basically it's a lot of Galliano.
Mm-hmm.
So what years of Galliano do you have your real Investier search results?
It's not with Galliano,
She's not telling.
it's got to be the right thing. It's pretty open-ended, my search. It's just John Galliano.
Oh, okay.
It's not specific. I want to be delighted, surprised, and like, moved.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you order something like that, because obviously it's vintage, so it is cheaper, but it ain't cheap.
No.
And now how often does it fit? Because you know what you're doing. You're a pro. How often do you have to make a return?
Return?
You know what? The more people
sorry.
that we talk to on this podcast over the years, like I had no idea how many people simply cannot be bothered to return the clothing that they spent hundreds or thousands of dollars on, and I applaud it. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Look, I can't do it.
From
My shit's
bright
cheap.
eyes to you.
Also
Yeah,
think
the range
for
is
me,
crazy.
like, I'm not someone that's like, I don't look in them. I kind of like it if it doesn't really fit as well. If it's like too big, which invariably it is. I like the way it hangs off and it gives it a different
Sure.
context.
You're fine. You're not. Yeah, it's never going to be crazy enough to return it anyway. Really.
Yeah,
You can't tailor a skirt to be bigger. You can only make it smaller.
Yeah, I know sort of what size is too small, and I will avoid it. But if it's too big, I kind of love it.
Yeah. You can make it work.
In a sort of interesting way.
I get it.
I can make it work.
Not everything has to be form fitting.
No, I actually am not a form
Speak for yourself.
fitter.
I want my shit skin tight.
Well, that's because you used to be fat, and now you're proud of your form.
I'm kidding. I like my clothes to be big and old. I don't want anything. Men shouldn't be wearing fitted clothes unless it's a suit. That's the only time where I think that's the only
Chris
time.
likes his clothes how our listeners like their men, big and old. Speaking of form-fitting clothing, Chris is a big workout guy. What does somebody like you, a Galliano freak, goth bitch, wear to the gym?
Oh, okay, so I'm
She's like, when you say gym,
like, translate that. I'm
a gym is like a big room where you look at your phone.
I'm allergic to exercise. I'm so lazy.
Must be nice.
Okay,
Nice.
so is your exercise level 0 aside from walking?
Do you know what I'm sort of the walking element. I like to keep that from I'm a passenger princess.
So even walking.
Yeah.
Does Tom carry you from room to room on occasion?
Sometimes, yeah. No, do you know what? He drags me by the hair.
Even hotter. Okay.
Like a caveman. You, woman, stop talking. There's a lot of that, especially if I'm drunk.
Okay, so 0. So you don't even own any workout clothing.
No, of course I've got like leggings, but like they're just, I don't even know how I've ended up with them. They're not like they're not like a designer brand. They're literally just like a legging, and I'll wear one of Tom's t-shirts.
How often do you wear sneakers in general, though?
No,
Not
I'm
designer.
not a sneaker person.
Not designer.
But back in the day, I used to wear Converse.
Okay.
Like, as in, when I say back in the day, I mean
Yeah,
when I was like working at ID Mag, I was wearing a pair of black high top Converse, which I wore every fucking day.
That's about his standard issue. That's one of the great sneakers of our time.
Yeah,
It was also very
from
ID
Tish
as
to
well.
Julian
It was-
Casablancas. It was it's
Yeah.
Straight line.
it's written into the annals of history. The Converse show, you know. Okay, so no, you never had like an all black.
Oh.
What about like a black on black pair of Solomons or something?
I had a Reebok
Miu Miu
Classic.
collab, New Balance.
Reebok Classic.
Reebok Classic.
Black.
That's cool.
That is the most British. That's the most British shit.
Is
I
it?
tell you what. I'll do a lot of shit. Reebok, I will not let touch my body. I can't do it. I just can't do it. It's you guys make it like. Ever since the streets, that's the first time I saw Reebok look cool, and it's only looked good on like people who are employed by Palace. Like it's not a real thing.
I'm not like
It's not a real thing.
I wasn't sneaker proud. I'm also like not really a shoe person.
Okay.
Oh wow, that is surprising because I love shoes. That's kind of my weakness.
No, I'm like I'm not one of those like girls who's shoes and bags. Like I have obviously, but I'm not like, oh, I need a bag for this. My bag is just one handbag, and then
You don't have a wall of Birkins in your closet, is what you're saying.
no, I don't. I'm not like, oh, I'll tailor this bag to my outfit. I'm just like, oh shit, where's my house keys? What bag did I need?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
The bag that you wear is whichever one has your stuff in it at that time.
Exactly. And then the shoes, I'm like, I rarely sort of think about them because I work from home. I'm not really wearing shoes, but like obviously if I'm going out and I'm considering my whole outfit, then shoes obviously are important.
I like the visibility for us who work at home and don't wear shoes. I like the thank you because
Right?
That's a fashion pro tip. Only wear shoes are very important outside.
I would
More
love
so
to
than
say,
you.
I think we need to get you a pair of kind of classic UGG slippers. We could dye them black, and I think that could be your kind of house shoe because it gets cold.
They make them in black now.
They do make them in black, yeah. Okay, but so I will not wear shoes in my own home, but I want other people to wear shoes in my home.
I'm totally with you, and it's because we're not married to Asian people, and I think that's important.
I like if you're like, oh, do you want me to take my shoes off? I'm like, no, please.
I don't take my shoes off when I go somewhere. I don't
Right.
expect you. That's part of the outfit. I don't want to see your socks.
Well, I think that goes back to you being like like a people pleaser is what I'm getting a call back
Oh,
to.
yes, that's true. Being like, no, it's basically because I grew up in a house where my mum would be like, take your shoes off. And I'm like, no.
And now you're the cool mom. Like, you kids want a margarita?
Yeah, I know that's going to be. Do you guys have kids?
No. Keep your wellies on. Who cares?
Yeah.
No, we don't. We do not have kids, but you have two, right?
I've got two. Yeah, I just spent a whole weekend with them.
At what age will you give them alcohol for the first time? Realistically speaking,
They've already started.
Just whiskey in the bottle can.
Yeah, exactly.
When I feel like they can be trusted, I think it's different with boys and girls. I mean, the first time I vomited in front of, the first time from alcohol, I was in front of my mom.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she was like, oh no, and also let me tell you, that was not the last time I vomited. But I think she felt like safe that I was with her.
Right. If you're gonna do it under my roof. I can keep an eye on you. Bring your slutty friends
That
over.
happens here too, but it's not the same because drinking culture is so different. It's like it's a different, like you go to jail. You go to jail.
over there.
Like you go to jail if you get caught letting your high school kid have like a party at your house.
Seriously.
Like that's a big offense.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. That's like you can't do shit like that. Yeah.
Lawsuits, all the other kids' parents.
Yeah.
People do it, but yeah, it's a pretty common problem.
So when you were throwing up in front of your mom, you were how old?
I think I might have been 13.
What were you sipping on?
Champagne, which now that I'm coming back,
You were
to that
allergic
wellness
even
thing,
then.
Of course
That's
I threw
not-
up, 'cause I'm
That's
allergic
not
to
something
it.
you develop. That's something you were born with.
That's at least that's what you told your mom. No, mom, I'm not drunk. I'm just
Exactly.
allergic. I'm
Yeah,
having
I'm like, sorry,
an
I'm
adverse reaction.
Mom, what
Intolerant
brand
to
is this?
champagne.
You know I only.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mom,
I thought it was a Gruner, mom. I messed up.
exactly. I don't know. I haven't thought about what age I'm going to let my kids drink. I think I definitely want to create a space for them where they don't hide it from us, because I think once you start, and actually someone told me, someone who's got older kids was like, it's not just about your kids being cool with calling you if something's gone wrong. it's got to be their friends as well. Because if your kid is overdosing, they're not going to call you because they're dying. But as long as you created a space for their friends to call you,
the homie's going to call with the Narcan request. I see.
Okay. And I'll be like, okay, but they need to have a direct line to both me and Tom, because like if it's, let's say if it's a party in the country, I can't drive, so like I'm not going to be able to get to them.
If it's a party in the country, I simply can't be arsed to go resuscitate my child.
I'll be like, I'm gonna have to get a driver, which is fine. I can figure it out. But like,
you can call a black lane.
Physically not allowed to drive. The wait time. I'm like, if I need to get that, I need to be like, Tom, go.
I love that you don't drive. I love that you don't drive, though. That feels really right.
And getting back from the country, are you kidding me? Oh, it's such a mess.
It would not be good if I did.
I know we just met, but I don't trust you behind the wheel.
Absolutely not, because I started dissociating, and I'm like, blah, 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 and I learned to drive. I killed the theory because I'm a fucking like SWAT, so I revised really well, and then I was like, oh yes. And then when it came down to the practical, the guy had to literally grab the wheel twice, and I was like, oh, okay,
to save his own life.
That's
he was
bad.
like, fail, and I was like, oh really? And he was like, yes. And I was like, okay. And it's because I did it late in life.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's true. If you do it, I was pretty like, here we get a learner's permit at 15 and you get your driver's license at 16. I was like the day I turned 15, the day I turned 16. It was a no.
Mm-hmm.
I love
It's just
driving.
what one does.
But living in London, you don't need it. And the first time I ever moved away from home was for uni, and I went to Oxford, and like I don't also ride a bicycle, but like the mode of transportation in Oxford is bike riding, which I was like,
I also can't imagine.
Yeah.
So I guess I can imagine you walking and maybe on a horse. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be in the cart.
Cart.
Like a horse pulling that cart.
Yeah.
You would prefer carriage than anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of your kids, do you think your kids are going to grow up to be nepo babies in any way?
I fucking hope so.
Jason, those are the only people that can get jobs at Vogue. If Vogue stopped hiring kids, it would be dead.
Well, I want them to feel happy and fulfilled and to do something. I think what I see a lot in young people today is like not having a clue about what they want to do, and I think that's not saying that I necessarily wanted to do like bitch work at a desk. That's not really what I had in my mind, but I like the idea of maybe working at a magazine.
I think your kids are going, because of what you and Tom do for a living, I think they're going to be like in finance. I think they're going to reject you fully.
Yeah, for sure.
One will be a rock star and one will be a day trader. That's how it's going to go.
Well, my son, who's 5, he's got an incredible imagination. And we were just driving back from the country like a couple of hours ago, and he suddenly attacked me. He was like, why did you call me Ruben? Why didn't you call me Shiva? And I was like, because we're not Indian. Maybe. I don't know. And he was like, he's obsessed with Indian culture. Obsessed.
Interesting.
So I don't really, yeah. And he basically learned about Diwali at school. And instead of connecting with Rama, the prince who saves the day, he's really into Ravana, the 10-headed demon. And he was always like, buy me a Ravana costume. I'm like, I don't know.
Chip off the old block.
Yeah. Tom.
Okay, so you took him to Dishoom one time, and the kid's going loco over Indian stuff. Is that what happened?
He doesn't actually know about Dishoom. Yeah.
Good.
He's desperate to go.
You're about to fucking blow his mind.
I know.
Get in here, you motherfucker. We're about to try something you're gonna like.
He's really into just like the gods side of it, and like he's very like Ganesh, but they're actually quite violent, those stories.
It's very interesting for a 5-year-old.
That is interesting.
Yeah, he's obsessed.
That means he pays attention at school, though, which is good.
No, because he's talking about it all year round, and Diwali's only in October. So he's like, Shiva.
Okay,
and
so
they're
he's
like,
a year.
no.
So he's okay. We need to get him off of the Krishna path if he's going to become a day trader, Chris.
Yeah.
We got to get him in a little vest. We need to get him a little puffer vest right now and kind of get this going. Start dressing him for the part. You know what I'm saying? Some nice flat front slacks. They can be cool.
Have you started showing him HBO's Industry in preparation?
yeah. You need to get him on
it. I haven't watched the latest. I haven't watched the latest season.
It's great.
You haven't had time.
I haven't had time.
Being a mother, you know.
Being a mother, exactly.
All right, Tish. Thank you for joining us. This was a real pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
And your book you can get it everywhere, I assume.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Were you just in a beauty campaign of some sorts? Did I see something?
Not beauty. I was in a campaign for Chloe.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just regular. I apologize.
Just
I didn't mean to put you in the corner. Okay.
Don't tell me with that fucking beauty brush.
I apologize. That is just
that makeup brush.
That is really disrespectful.
Disrespectful.
That's really disrespectful.
Yeah, well, Chloe's a good start. We'll get Celine next year, babe.
Chloe's yeah, it's a good start. You're going. I can tell you're going somewhere.
Yeah, down.
No, thank you for joining us, and hopefully we see you soon.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Tish.
Bye.
Have a good Sunday.
Bye, you too.